Hi, how are you? This is Finnabair here with Prima Marketing, and soon we are starting the reveal of my new release. So if you want, and if you can, share that info on your wall, share that info on your group. Please send the link to Finnabair and Friends Open Studio, to Create with Prima, and to other ones, because I am so excited to show you my new product coming this fall, end of summer, fall 2021. And as I mentioned before, this is not a big release, so your wallets and purses may feel a little bit of the relief. And I believe they are beautiful anyway, and I've got some samples to show you, and I want to introduce you to each design. Welcome to all of my friends. I can see friends from Poland. Cześć Agnieszko, cześć Magda. I can see some of my patrons coming. Oh, hello Kasia, cześć Kasiu. I can see people from the US joining. It's great to have you here in my studio. And today with me, we've got, I think Natalie should be here already. She will be able to help you with some of the questions, or to give you the numbers of the items. As I told you before, there are not so many. Hello Karen, hello Dana. And if you have any questions during the stream, I will have another screen here open, so I will try to show you my designs and some ideas, but at the same time I will have one eye on the chat, so it's going to be multitasking as usual. Hello to Montreal, Canada. Yes, Natalie is here. So we are going to start in about 3 minutes, so we have enough time to take that link and to share it to all the other groups, so people can see the live and they can interact with us if they want to. Of course, this is recorded, so you can watch it later as well. And I will try to download it and put it on my YouTube channel as well. But sometimes technology is tricky. And the recording, well, it is lovely, but you can't interact. Witam Beatko, witam Alicję. Cześć Asiu, hello. It's great to see you all. We have already 50 people watching, which is really quick. I will check the screen with the comments so I can see. Hello to Greece. I will probably, okay, I can see myself here. Yeah, this multitasking, you know. Sweden, Canada again, Arizona. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. I know it's exciting time, but it's also middle of the summer for a lot of people. So you may be on vacation, or you may be planning your vacation. Thank you, Avant. So this is not always so easy to be in the right timing. For some of the people, it's middle of the winter as well. And that's huge hello to my friends in South Africa and in Australia and New Zealand. Also to my friends in South America at that time. So, welcome to my studio. And my job today is to introduce you to small range of Finnabair products coming out now. Oh, San Antonio, wonderful, and Russia. We have a lot of friends in Russia, and it's great to see you here. And Mexico. Perfect. Oh, Holland, wonderful. I try to keep myself hydrated. It was very hot in the last... That's just the dog. It was very hot in the last days in Ireland. Now the weather changed, but we were really having hot and humid weather, which is unusual. Many people were absolutely shocked. Germany, and of course I'm here from Ireland. So this is, as always, international meeting. So guys, let's have a look at what we have at the table. Prima is already showing you beautiful collections of the papers. I've seen some of the sneak peeks and they look really tempting, but my job is to tempt you with some mixed media products. And this time I've got addition, like very small addition to the range of matte waxes. We have 2 new matte waxes joining the family, and the colors are ochre and stained wood, so 2 shades of brown, completely different to other ones. Hello, Sonika. And these are the shades which are going to be perfect for this natural look. If you're going to think about colors of the suede leather, colors of the clay, colors of the stained wood, these are the colors for you. And on the second side, we've got 6 new stencil designs. I was showing you a little bit of the sneak peeks, but here they are, and we are going to have a look at them separately, each single one. So so that is my job today. I've got 3 samples to show you, but if you'd like to see a little bit more and the details, you can go to finnabair.com, because that time already, that should be the new post there with some sneak peeks and the projects from me and my design team, so you can have a look. And if you keep your eyes on Finnabair social media, Finnabair Studio on Instagram, Finnabair page on Facebook, there will be now new designs by my design team and me showing in the next days, so you will get tons of inspiration on how to use the new product. This is the time. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will switch the camera to the table and I will give you a look at the product. And then my plan is, because it's a small release, I will try to make a tiny journal page for you, so we can chat and we can have a look on how new products look in action. Thank you so much for being here with me. Let's make the magic happen. How to switch that? Okay, here. Yay! I'm prepared. I have some swatches already. Let's see. Oh yeah, sorry. Just my camera. My camera got funny for a moment. If you know these ones, this is the same range of product. Now we are adding 2 natural looking colors. So it's the same quality of the wax, the same formula, which is completely opaque and covering. And now my idea was to add the colors. So I have a swatch here. This is exactly the one that I used for the packaging. So ochre color. Ochre is almost like natural suede color, or the color of the clay, and not very red clay. It's more like golden clay color. So here it was applied on the top of red spray and rubbed with my finger. You can see it is very natural and organic looking. Something that is great for creating effects that are going to imitate the natural ingredients in your project. Something very good for earthy tones, something good for vintage, and also for steampunk, of course. And I also have a sample where I use that quite a lot, so I will show you that in a moment. The other one is on completely other side of the brown. I sprayed it on the same pink red spray. Sorry, I applied it on the red spray, and this one is very dark. This one has this mahogany color. If you know mahogany, it is the wood which has a lot of red undertones. It is brown, but on the red side, completely dark and very, very saturated. So that is the second tone we are adding to the range. And together they are great to create imitation of the leather. And if you would like to make those projects, maybe book covers, maybe some canvases where you would like to use a bit of the leather look, these are going to work for you in the wonderful way. I have a little bit of the color already wrapped on the chipboard. So you can see after drying, the colors look like golden brown and quite dark reddish brown. And these, of course, have the same formula with the vanilla smell and with the creamy consistency. And they are easy to use. You can apply them with brushes or you can apply them with your fingers. It's really up to you. We can use them with our stencils in a moment. And you can see how they're going to create effects for you. And on this sample, this is the one I made for my patrons about a week and a half ago. You can see I was really inspired by the ochre color. And here on the background and on a lot of the elements, I used that color together with the paint. So I wanted to add this matte finish. When I was rubbing that on the tissue paper, it was adding this natural, very vintage look. And of course, you can apply it thicker, so then the color is going to be more opaque, or you can make it more transparent. Like here, I was just using my finger. And that way, you can get really nice saturation of colors. I started with a bit of the paint. You can see the paint in some parts, but tones of that color you can see here, this matte finish, this very rustical look, it is coming from these two waxes, mostly the ochre color and with a tiny touches of the stained wood. And if you really like these effects, they are going to be matte option for you. They're going to give you this the same application, the same quality as the metallic waxes, but with the matte finish. Some people love them, and I hope this is going to be something for you. There's a great alternative to using acrylic paint for dry brushing. And now in the range we have not only colors of the rust and patina, white, black, and some I would say pastel colors, but very earthy and very natural looking colors of ochre and stained wood. So when we talk about this project, you can see there is a stencil used here as well, and that stencil is one of the new releases as well. This is a book of numbers, and I'm going to show you this one in a moment. It's really a beautiful stencil inspired by my love for the vintage paper. So you can see it is called Book of Numbers, and it is basically a page from the ledger book, of course altered to match our needs. And when applied, you've got these beautiful crisp looking numbers and lines. This is icing paste applied through the stencil, and it is a little bit dimensional and beautifully shiny. And if you would like to see it in real life, I have already unpacked one, so I'll put it on the table so you can see the design directly. Luckily, there are no questions. What are the numbers here? These are just some random numbers from the ledger's book I have at home. And of course, all the numbers have some imperfections to make them look a little bit older, but also work as a stencil. These are going to be available in the next 2 weeks in the stores, because Prima is shipping them now to the craft shops. So you can start talking to your favorite store and maybe placing a pre-order for these, because they're going to be quite a hot item, I believe. So this is design number 1, a book of numbers. And this is not the only stencil that I made, and it was inspired by my love for the old paper. This is the second one. I know the stencils with the text on them, they are quite popular. And this is not a surprise because they work for a very wide range of the projects. This one is called Ghostwriter, and sorry for the glare. Ghostwriter, and it's beautiful handwritten text I arranged in the way that fills the space nicely. The words are not too small and not too delicate, so it is going to work not only with the very delicate paste, but also with texture paste that contains some sand. Here's an example of the applied stencil, so you can see the size of the letter. These ones are again icing pastes, and this handwriting is taken from one of the pages that I have at home. And of course some people will see which language it is this time, because before we had Irish language rearranged, then we had the German, Gothic, I think it was Scandinavian language, and now we have the handwritten text. And that I'm just waiting for somebody to tell me what language is it. Like, some people will know for sure. What does the stencil say? It doesn't say much. Yes, of course, Agnieszka said truth. This is part of the essay and written in Polish language, and this is biography of one of the Polish writers, but to be honest, it is rearranged this way. None of the sentence is really finished, and a lot of letters may be rearranged, so it doesn't really make sense. You have to think it is just a pattern. And honestly, it's the same story as with the Gothic text and the Irish text from Book of Kells. I was more focusing on filling the space nicely with letters instead of having a special message here. So this is Polish language. If you look closer, you can see something like there's a year, and this is probably the year where something important happened for the writer. There are some names like that he studied somewhere and he was brought up somewhere, and he created, or he wrote his novels in the style of something. But honestly, this text is almost cut in half. So don't look for the meaning here. They're just more random rearranged letters and sentences to make the stencil look nice. And this is what I believe makes sense, because it is going for international market, and it's supposed to be one of the backgrounds. If you want to have a hidden message, you should look for something on your local market. And some brands, some people create stencils with the messages that are important. But for me, these are just patterns. They are creating part of the background, so nobody will see that anyway. Yeah, it's not English or French for us Canadians. Well, I had English last time. There was, in the previous release, there was English. So I'm trying to keep it fair for everybody. And you know, I have a lot of papers in different languages at home, so it is quite possible it is going to be English. So this one was English. However, that person didn't have such easy to read handwriting, so maybe it's harder to read, but here's yours faithfully for sure. And I think there are some words like 3 and 21. So we are trying to keep everybody happy. I keep looking for interesting looking pages on handwritten notes. and I use them for creating the stencil. So you can see there are two completely different styles. Like this is much more delicate, and this one I found is much more heavy. So it's still handwriting, but you can use it with a little bit of different texture. This one is going to be quite good for example, sand paste, while this one with the sand paste is probably too delicate. So I try to keep it different, and in the future I hope to find more interesting pages, maybe something in languages from Asia, like maybe Japanese or Korean or Chinese, or something from Africa, or maybe Hebrew. You know, it all depends what is going to be there. The German one, it was called Gothic, and that release was a year ago, and I can't promise it is German, but it is more like Nordic languages. It may be Old Swedish or Old Norwegian, but it is with the Gothic font. So that was the one I made with the Gothic text. And again, the same story. They are not possible to read because the text was rearranged. It was broken. The words were broken. And some of these have absolute no meaning. So I only work with them as it is a pattern. And this is, okay, there's ask, somebody wants Portuguese, maybe. So this is from a prayer book, or it could be the Bible. I can't say exactly, but of course it was just one of the random pages. So that's why if somebody is messaging Prima asking, what is the meaning of the stencil? I always answer, there's no meaning. There's nothing really for you to read. And they are more for having fun with the font, somebody's handwriting, and to create the impression. So this is more or less what I have on my mind. I don't put any hidden messages here. So this was stencil number 2. And by accident, this one is in Polish. Next one is something that is inspired by my love for sketches. This is called machinery, and this one is in fact the stencil based on the blueprint. I had to do a lot of rearranging here to make all these very fine lines work, but you can see a lot of cogs and a lot of elements which are going to go perfectly with more masculine and more steampunk compositions. So that is something that was based on the, I think, part of the engine blueprint from the old book. And it was rearranged as much as possible to work as a stencil. So I had to make a lot of lines thicker. Some of them got thinner or disappeared. But the overall look, that is working pretty fine. And here I used copper's icing paste. You can see the detail is pretty amazing. I really like how crisp the image is. It is more grungy stencil for those of you who have this pure love for something more masculine, and you would like to add some delicate elements in the background, which are going to match the heavy composition on the top. These will also work really well to create some nice circles and to add some random text, also for modern kind of projects. So, something for everybody. So far we had numbers, we had handwritten text, and we've got this machinery blueprint. Let me show you the stencil in full size. Because, of course, I have it open. it is like this. You can see it on my table quite well because I've got a black mat in the background, and you can see there are many round details on the bottom, round ones on the top, a lot of letters and lines. So you can use all of it, or you can use just parts if you prefer. It's quite fun, and I'm quite proud of it, to be honest, because it was challenging to make this one. Sorry. So that is something for people who love the old paper and they like to have something, you know, a bit unusual in the background. And now let's go a little bit more towards romantic and Victorian. Okay. So we can have a look at this one. You know, I love the wallpapers. I had several stencils inspired by wallpaper already. And this one is called Bindweed Wallpaper. Bindweed is a plant we have in our gardens all the time, and it climbs on other plants, and it's doing its best to kill them. Which means it is pretty aggressive plant, but it reminded me the pattern. This pattern reminded me the way the bindweed is going all the way around my roses and my buddleia and other plants. So this pattern is taken from one of the vintage designs, which was changed, of course, to work better as a stencil. I added a lot of details, and this one is really big enough to work with the sand paste or graphite paste because the details are not too small. This one is really visible and really strong pattern. So you can expect the result is going to look absolutely stunning. This is rose gold paste, icing paste, and the design looks like that. So the Bindweed wallpaper is one of my favorites. I really love my wallpaper designs. Before this one, I absolutely love the iris tapestry. This one is my next favorite. Probably it's going to be the most favorite now for some time. And the good thing is you can use it with the wide range of products. So not only the paint or gesso or modeling paste, you can also use it with texture paste that have some glitter or some beads inside, because the petals, they have quite visible big holes that are going to allow for the elements to go through them. Okay. So this is number 4. Two more to go. Before that, here's a little bit. Oh, I can't show you everything, but here's a little bit of the stenciling visible. I'm just showing you, it's a teaser. I can't show everything perfectly, but I used that as part of the background for this project. So this is Bindweed wallpaper, and you can see I used metallic flake together with that pattern to make it look very special. So this is another idea. And to remind you, if you'd like to see more of the designs from my design team members, Finnabair.com will already have post with the new release waiting for you, so check it out later, and there will be more of the products coming very, very soon. Okay, ready for the next one? Next one is very traditional. This is the design which is called Victorian Tiles, and my friends made a bit of fun of me because I was in the in the stage of redesigning my bathroom when I was working on the stencils. So I think Victorian tiles got on my mind easily. And again, this is the pattern inspired by traditional wallpaper and tile designs, and I adapt that to create a very geometrical, repetitive pattern you can use to create a really large background if you want to. So this stencil works both with the detailed paste such as icing paste, but also with the patterns which are or textures which are more chunky. So this is not too delicate. No, this is not in my bathroom, but I looked at a lot of tiles when I was working on it. It's finally finished, and I can, well, it's finished today, honestly. And I can finally walk in there and have a deep breath and use my bath tub and my shower. But I had a good look at the tiles, at the wallpapers, and I found some really inspiring designs, which I used to create stencils. And I think looking into historical designs is great source of inspiration because they were really beautiful and they give you a lot of details which are absolutely unique, and they work well with the vintage style. They work well with the shabby or romantic style. Can you see how shiny it is? So pretty. And of course they are very versatile as well. So let's have a look at the full stencil so you can see the whole size of it. This is the full size of the stencil. So that is something that I used in one of my samples as well. So I will show you the one that I was showing before. I will post the photos on my social media very soon, but if you have a closer look here, you can see how I combine the metallic look together with the texture of the wood and details of the stencil. I didn't really put it evenly everywhere. There are some parts where only the wood is visible, but that was part of the plan. I wanted to metallic, shiny background and dimensional stenciling with icing paste to contrast to the natural weathered wood color. So this is the project which was done with a Victorian Tiles stencil, and in the next days I'm going to post it on my Facebook and on my Instagram account, so you will have closer look at the design. Of course, it was done for my patrons, so they got a video showing the whole process step by step. So it was really fun to create. Yeah, the wood and the metallic flakes together, they really are kind of unique combination. It's really cool to combine something which is rough and quite maybe not so pleasing to the eye, and metallic, shiny and eye-catching. So the composition here is all based on the golden and red colors. That's why I used the icing paste in the gold color, and the Victorian Tiles is basically matching that composition really nicely because it's very versatile pattern, very traditional, yet a little bit different. I didn't see exactly the same style of the stencil on the market yet. I'm trying to make them different so we don't really have repetitive designs. I've seen a lot of damasks, but not this kind of pattern. So I try to stay away from popular to make something new for myself. And finally, last but not least, something that will make, again, some people happy. Again, the stencil inspired by the old text page from the booklet or notebook, some very important official paper. In the middle, you can see there was a stamp. So now I'm waiting for somebody to recognize the language. This one is called Documented, as Natalie said already. Documented stencil is, again, the huge bow to my love to the old papers. So I have that page somewhere in my stash, and if you have a closer look, you will see what language it is now. And again, you can't really say what is exactly written here because I rearranged the text. I really wanted the lines of the grid to be visible. I wanted the text to be visible and this stamp in the middle as well. So I can't really say that makes any sense because again, it is cut. It is a little bit complicated. Here's the effect on the paper. So you can see the detail that we are getting with this one. So this one, documented one, is of course in, I'm just wondering who's going to see, what language is it? I'm just holding and waiting. Yeah. When I was showing that to my patrons, they guessed quite quickly. So I have to give you a chance. What language is it? Nope, nobody. So I will tell you. This is Russian. This text, oh yes, it's yay, yeah, Beata was first. Beata said. This is Russian. And I picked the page because I really love the handwritten text with unusual alphabet. Yay! So that is Russian text with some numbers, dates. I think it was some kind of record on when somebody was having their vacation or maybe some kind of a special, I don't know, some meetings. It's very old, so it could be, as you can see, 1965, 1966, 1940, anything. So this is for sure from communist times, and I absolutely love the combination of the grid and the text. So that is Russian, and this is the packaging of the stencil called Documented. And now, once we have them all in here, we will try to use them for something. We will try to make some patterns to see how they work. I showed you the ready ones, of course, but it is not the same when you see them in front of you, done and finished, and not the same if you do it in front of you in real life. So let's try one of the stencils which are more detailed, one of the stencils which are maybe a little bit more chunky. So let's take the Victorian Tiles. Let's take this one with the Russian text, and maybe let's take this one with the blueprint to see how they're going to react. So maybe let's start with the blueprint, and I'm just going to take a bit of the icing paste to repeat my way of application. This way I will have a background for my future journal pages. So you can see how the product goes. So it's almost empty. Hopefully I will have enough. I will try to get out a bit. I have to take a smaller spatula because it is not that much in the jar. And I will just apply it to create nice look. I try to push it through the stencil to see what happens. and go different ways, scraping off the excess. And of course the key is to keep the stencil in one position. So let's see what happens now. I moved it a little bit, but hopefully not too much. And here we go. Of course, I put it in the water right away. So now you can see the result with the icing paste. And of course, icing paste dries quickly. It's a product which works with the stencils really well. So this wasn't hard. Let's try to take something with the texture. Crackle doesn't work too well for us because it's too long. I have white sand. Okay, white sand is the paste that has sand texture in it. So we can try it with more chunky design, something that has bigger holes in it. So for example, Victorian Tiles. I have another page here we can use for that. And we're going to see how the sand paste is going to go through the page. So you will have trial by me. Now I have more on my palette, so I can go with bigger silicone brush. You can hear the sand. I try to push it through the stencil. Of course, it is white sand, so the pattern is going to be transparent gel with the white sand in it. And you will be able to see the amount of detail we are going to get with this. Let's see. I will give you a closer look, of course. Sand paste. Very good result for the texture paste. You can see we have nice dimension and everything is reproduced in a beautiful way. So as I said, this one is designed intentionally to make the holes big enough for this kind of product. So when it is dry, it is going to have this nice sandy texture as well. Remember, the more detailed the stencil is and the thinner the lines are, the gritty products are not going to fit. Okay, so when you use your stencils, try to pick the right ones for the purpose. For example, if you have very, very fine lines, you would need to use paint or a very smooth paste through it to get the good results. If you have bigger spaces like here, you can go more crazy with more coarse or dimensional product. Okay, just showing, this wasn't hard. So we have that, and now maybe let's create some simple journal page, and I will use the documented stencil, and I will take a page and I'm going to use simple modeling paste, so white paste that is very neutral and we can use it on almost any surface. So let's see what we have. Which page is going to work the best? Let's say this one. Okay, I have a plan to create a bit of the text pattern. You could make your own tiles and decoupage them all over your kitchen. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you just need a little bit of the chalk paint and a bit of patience and you can do it. So let's make some pattern, and then it's going to resist. So I would love to see this stamp and I would love to see this large number texts. So I'm going to take neutral background and a neutral color and apply the color on the top. Let's take modeling paste. Where is it? Modeling paste. It's a very simple technique, but very rewarding to watch. I squeeze the paste out. This one doesn't have any product in it. It's just white, sticky, and very creamy. I take new silicone brush. And then we're going to make white on white texture. And we will add color on the top later. This is the first time I'm making something with the stencil, so it is kind of exciting. This one doesn't need a lot of product because the design is not too big. The letters don't require a lot of product, so I keep the leftovers here on my palette and I can use it for gluing. And look at that. Beautiful, almost like embossed effect. And because I really love that part, I will make a mini composition here so I can see the details of that nicely. I will just dry it a little bit with the heat gun, and I will wait for you to tell me which of these designs is your favorite, which one you would like to have on your table in the close future. This is unnecessary to have in Eustache, I want it. Oh, thank you. Look at this, it's drying already. It looks like embossed paper because it's white on white now. Natalie, oh, yeah. Like, I get it. Oh, thank you. You know, my love for the old papers is shining through all of the designs. And numbers, documented. Okay. I don't dry it completely just to keep it more or less safe. And now we can look at a bit of the texture to create some small composition. I put these new ones in the safe place because I can put my hand in them and that would be a shame. I put them on the side so they can dry for the future. And let's have a look what I've got here. I should have some tape and some lace and some images. This text is in Russian. I think that lady looks like some kind of Russian noble lady, so she can go on our page. That would be really nice. I'm so happy you like all of them. But you know, it's okay to have your favorites. I don't blame you, we all have our favorites. I just put it on the keyboard so it's going to be more sturdy, almost like a cabinet card. Okay, Natalia's playing games already. Yeah, leave the hearts if you like all of them. Don't forget, guys, that there's more of the Prima goodness coming in the next days. There will be more of the reveal. So you should watch your wallet and make good decisions about spending. Buy the stuff that you love the most, of course, in portions. And I'm just saying that stencils are good tools you can use many times. So I always have a good bunch of stencils in my studio. So Prima is really great at tempting people. Oh, I can see a lot of hearts coming. So we created our cabinet card now. Yeah, she does look like it's almost now like it is some kind of passport. It's like a Russian passport we are creating. Absolutely cool idea by accident. Yeah, exactly. Don't forget to check the design team members' work. Prima website and Finnabair website. Oh, Aneta, thank you so much. Dziękuję. Okay, this lady looks really cool here. So we can put her here next to the stamp. So it's going to create the feeling, it's a bit like passport. And we can add some random papers and some elements to create a bit of the look. I have some chipboards. I have some ephemera. We can add here as well. We have some more chipboard. That's kind of going nicely with the stamp. I have some tags and some stickers and some old paper. So it's not in Russian, but nobody will see it anyway. Hello, hello to France. Let's get a bit of paper, which is going to work really nice, I think. Oh. So I will stick that. I use the same modeling paste to stick it. You can see I'm touching it already. It's not damaging the design because it was already dry. I dried it with the heat gun. And I will cut that chipboard a little bit smaller. So that looks like lace. We're going just quickly for a very simple page, just to put the product into use and to see what they can do for us. Oh, that will be nice here in the bottom. Here we go. Let's find some nice strip of paper to add here as well. It's all okay. Kai, my dog got a little bit alerted. I think there's a bird in the garden. Very, very likely it is a bird. Okay, so that is going to look quite nice. I'll just move this a little bit left. Come on. Because I would like to see most of this design as much as possible. Let's see what kind of stuff we've got here. We've got a butterfly, which is nice. We've got some tag. This is in French. It's one of the Prima older collections. Oh, look at that. There's a surprise. There will be a giveaway. I love giveaways. I'm sure you do love giveaways as well. The giveaway is after the live. So, you know, don't go away too far. Once we finish, there's a chance to win. Let's have a look at my lace. What kind of stuff have I got here? I have this large flower. Maybe too big. Or maybe this way. Oh, that is very romantic. Oh. Yeah, we all love giveaways. Me too. So we have that, we have that. It would be nice to have something going a little bit down. Oh, look at this. It's really nice flourish. I'm going to use that one. I try to keep it more flat. So this journal page is not going to be two-dimensional. But of course, being flat is not so easy. There are some beads, which I probably should remove. Let me do it. If if I want to close the book easier, it's better to remove the beads. Yay! Nice. Trying not to cover too much. Oh, this way. I'm just still using the leftovers of the modeling paste to stick it in the place. We've got our mysterious lady. Very romantic. I think a lot of these lace pieces I've got here are in fact leftovers from wedding dressmaking, because they look so beautiful and there are so many beads on it. So you can see these are really small scraps, but very useful for a lot of projects of that kind. Let's find some small embellishment to go with it. Something not too thick. This is too big. Maybe cog. Something rusty. Oh, this is very nice rusty one. I wouldn't be myself if I didn't put anything mechanical in the project. Oh, you are so kind. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Natalie, and thank you, Amanda. I take a little bit more of the paste, so I can glue a bit more. Uh-oh, this has to move so we can see the design better. Maybe some smaller things like a gear here. This gear goes here, yeah. So now I need a tiny, tiny, super small. Oh, I have one. Oh, Janet, thank you. You are so kind. For me as a teacher, it's absolutely rewarding and heart-melting to see that people get inspired. So this is the purpose of all of my work, to keep people activated and to keep people creative and willing to create, to make some art. And that is one of the most rewarding things. I think it's very proper add-on to add some stars to it as well. So huge thank you to you, Janet. It is so nice of you. Like, oh, that would be nice if she had a star, I think. Yeah, we're going to put a star here. But wait, maybe I will add some color first and I will add the stars later. Okay, I can decorate the photo a little bit. I can add some kind of tape maybe, so it's going to get some color. This is my favorite pharmacy supply fabric tape. I can add some staples to make it look more like a document. So let's add some staples here. Uh-oh. No. I'm out of staples. Staples to the rescue. Come on. Maybe paper clip. I should have some paper clips here nearby as well. Just simple paper clip. And of course we need a bit of color here as well. Okay, I have some rusty paper clips. That is going to work pretty well, I think. It's quite flat so far, and I'm going to add these stars. I'm going to add the lady and probably some text. I will now dab a tiny bit of gesso, so it is all going to be nicely blended, but it should be imperfect. So I'm just going to go and add a bit to whiten some parts. And also the trick is, when you do this kind of project and you have fabric in it, if you dab some gesso in some parts, the fabric will absorb more in the parts which are not painted, and it's going to absorb less in the parts which are painted. So you get inspiring gradation of the colors. I'm trying to add the color to the chipboard and a little bit on the paper as well. It's a little bit too much here, so I'm going to spray and pick it up. Sorry, another bird in the garden, I think. So I'm just adding here and there a bit. So absorption of the paper is also going to depend on, is it gesso in there or not? So the colors will be a little bit different depending where we are going to put the color after adding the gesso. And of course, the next important thing is drying. Before painting, we need to dry. Jen, you are so cute. Well, this is the part of the live stream. You can talk to the person who is creating, and that means it is more exciting for both sides, because I can interact with you, and this is the feeling like I'm almost in the classroom. So I just randomly dabbed a bit of that gesso in that area. So apparently these parts are not going to be getting the color saturation equally to other parts. We'll see what happens. It's vintage, so it's supposed to be imperfect. And now, of course, I will dry it so it is easier for me to keep the things in place. I also added a bit of gesso on the fabric strip here. We have matching bedspreads. I think that happens quite a lot, especially if you shop in IKEA. Okay, let's think about the color. Brown, of course, because it is vintage, but we can combine the brown with something else. Maybe a bit of shiny. Yeah, IKEA, exactly. Okay, this is dry enough. Now, brown. What is the color I used lately? How about some coral? Coral reef looks promising. Oh. And of course I didn't open that for a long time, so this is stuck. So another trick, if you can't open your paint, put it in the hot water or heat it with the heat gun. Don't melt the jar. And now you can see why it was not opening. Yeah. Let's get some brown color. And I think with coral reef, this is going to be really good combination. Let's get, maybe, just in case, something a little bit more saturated. This is red wine, so maybe for the accent. Brown, tea bag. What can be better than the real tea for making vintage effects? Oh, we've got some of the insides as well. Oh well, life. So let's dry it a little bit. It's going to be very natural looking. Thanks to the tea bag that decided to give us a little bit of the extra goodness. I'm just putting that in the tea as well to get some extra color. Who knew? Now it looks like coffee, but it's tea. You can see how nicely the paper gets with this golden brown touch. Oh, you have so much you can open the store. Oh, squeak! So now this is this happy girl, like this squeak that I should make here. Yay, thank you for that. Yeah, that is tea. Yeah, my tea from the tea bag. I just pick up the excess a little bit. I try to get rid of this a bit as well. Not everything, because in fact, these tea bits look quite cool, so I'm not removing everything. This part I will dry later. You can see in some parts where the gesso was, it is not going through. In the parts where there was no gesso, it goes through. So this is the reason for using gesso. And now the lady will be here, so we can play with a bit of this coral color. Just a small brush and a lot of water. Let's put a bit of that color here. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, look at her. Oh. Oh, look at the stencil details. So nice. Maybe a tiny bit of this red. In some parts for extra saturation. I think this part won't be visible. Okay, here. Let's keep these ones on hand. A bit of this color here as well. Patient drying. The truth is, for the vintage project, anything goes nicely with brown. So whatever you're going to use, it is going to look nice. But because we were using shimmering paint, you can see this coral had quite a lot of gold in it. So now this gold is transferred on the embellishments, and it's giving you a lot of lovely shine also on the background. I'm moving the page to show you the details. I'm trying to make it a little bit more flat. So here you can see that now the stencil is visible in a beautiful way. I try to dry from the bottom as well, so the paper is not going to be so warped. Of course, after drying, this paper gets more flat, but we are doing everything quickly. So I'm trying to speed up also the drying process. Let's dry the lady as well. Let's take the same brush and splatter a bit of that coral color because it is absolutely beautiful. Coral reef. I take the water and just make the paint a little bit more flowing. Splatters make the lovely dynamic effect. So it looks like somebody came and just splashed the paint on the project. Now we dry it again. Thank you, Matilda, and thank you, Olga, and thank you, Alexandra, and thank you, Małgorzata. Oh, you realize you don't use enough water. Well, it all depends what kind of effect you'd like to get. If you are going for more watercolor look like here, you need plenty of water because you want the paint to flow. If you want solid painting, you don't need too much. No. So we continue our work on this vintage passport. So I can stick that in here. I will try to, maybe I will take double foam. So it's going to stick better. And we need to add a little bit of stars, maybe some sentiment, and it's going to be ready. So you will be able to see the natural beauty of the stencil. And just to remind you, I only used modeling paste for that step. It was very simple white on white technique to start with, but now because of the subtle colors that we used, the coral reef and the tea and a tiny bit of the red wine, the stencil pattern is much more visible. So this way, that is very nice visual effect. Not bad at all. I love the staples. Let's give the lady a bit of the vintage touch. We can add some very old looking paper clips. Come on, go. Thank you. So rust effect. And I wanted to include a bit of the stars. I was thinking about putting one star here, one star there. So she will have a bit of the metallic touches as well. I have still leftovers of the modeling paste, and that should work pretty well. I will clean it off in a moment. Ah! It's running away. Let's put something here as well. Of course, I could make it on the canvas as well, but today it is on the paper. Ah, not enough of the paste. Stay there. No, you don't want to stay? I'll get more paste and you will stay. Of course, this is white, so I have to be careful with the color, but I have plenty of white here anyway. Ah, I know. It's wet here, so that's why it doesn't want to stay. This was the reason. Cleaning off the paste. Come on, come on. I have my elbows already dirty. I don't know how this could happen. Oh yeah, now it is sticking. Let's have a closer look. Of course, it is very wet, but it will dry completely. And now we have a space for a small sentiment, something that would work really nice. Photograph journal has treasure. Let's take the treasure word. Treasure. Or voyage. No, treasure. And this treasure is too clean, so we are going to add a bit of tea on it as well. Yes, I'm dipping the brush in my teacup, but it's okay. It's my tea. I'm not going to drink it anymore now. And final drying. Of course, I will take a photo and I will try to put it on my social media so you can see it a little bit better. But really the beauty of that page is in the simplicity and this watercolor effect we created with the paints and the white texture of the stamp. Can you seal those words with something so the letters don't wear off? You mean like this treasure? They don't really wear off, I think. You can put a coat of gel medium on the top of it. Well, I told you many times, my secret is I accept the things that happen on my page. I don't go for perfection because perfection is overrated. I think it's dry to hold it, dry enough to hold it closer. So I will show you the details. You can see the effect with the stencil, just white on white. It's like this embossing or debossing, depending how you want to call it. Here we've got beautiful results. It looks like a bit like embossing, really. Like if you used a lot of embossing powder. And of course, if you had a stamp and similar pattern, you could get that result, of course. But the reality is white modeling paste is resisting quite well to the paint. So the paper gets covered much more than the paste. So the pattern is nicely visible. So white on white technique with this combination is really fun to use together with watered down paints to create this splattery look. And you know, you can do it with any stencil, of course. And gel mediums also work pretty well, but it's transparent, so maybe the image is not going to be visible that much. I'm sure you could make something beautiful while blindfolded. Ah, Valerie, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure, but thank you. Now, looking at it, I really feel like I should put a bit of more of red on that side to balance it. So I will just dip my brush here and put a tiny bit more of this coral. So that makes sense. Because it looks like a strong accent here, but nothing here. Now, it's going to be much better. Yeah. So today we have a treasure, and just to remind you, I used the stencil which was called Documented stencil, and the one with the text in Russian, beautiful stamp, and a lot of handwritten text and lines. And that was combined with some of the older products I used, and some tea stains as well. So I hope that was entertaining. Don't forget, you should go to Prima website and to Finnabair.com website to see more of the samples, a lot of photos. And in the next days, we are going to be all over. Okay, I'm back. Yeah. Yes, just before I was going to tell you about the giveaway. Huh? It was not me. It was the gods of internet interrupting me with this important information. So before the gods of internet are going to stop us again, don't forget, once the video is finished, there is going to be a giveaway. So you can win some of my new release products, 6 of the stencils or 2 of the waxes. I have no idea what happened for a moment, but in the last days Facebook was a little bit moody, so that's why things may be happening. Welcome back. So I will, of course, this is going to be recorded so you can watch it later as well. And I'm going to post the photos of this little page I made for you. And in the next days, you should check Finnabair.com. There's a post with this box already and other projects from my design team. Check Prima website. And once it is finished, please do visit Prima page here. Don't go away. There is going to be a giveaway. Natalie is going to give you all the details, and I'm sure the prize is going to be lovely. So if you have any questions about the new release, the first important news: these products are shipping now, which means the stores are going to get them in the next week or 2 weeks, depending how quickly the shipping is going to be. So for United States, it's going to be probably next week, maybe end of this week, who knows, maybe maybe it is going to be beginning of the next week. For Europe and Australia or South America, it is going to be 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, but it is in the warehouse now. the orders are getting in, so you can tell your favorite shop that Prima has the new release and apparently there are some products you would like to have. So you can talk about pre-orders, or you can just let them know which ones are on your wish list. For me, it is great to have you all here. Check the Instagram updates, check all the information, because in the next days we are going to show you a lot of goodness, including new Finnabair products. I told you this release is not big, but I think the designs are very inspiring, and for many mixed media beginners, these are perfect designs to add to the stash because they're very versatile. And when it comes to the matte waxes, we just needed more shades of brown, of course. For mixed media place, we already placed the order, so we are waiting for that to be shipped. I would expect probably first or second week of August to have that in Ireland, because it all depends also on the shipping time and the customs. But we think maybe in 2 weeks it should arrive. So we placed the order, of course. So that is done. So guys, now go to Natalie. She is posting information about giveaway. And thank you so much for watching. Share that video with your friends, and see you soon. Thank you.